What is going on, jumpers? This jump rope skill tutorial is going to go over the inverse toed go-go cross, which is a really fun one. We're gonna go through all the main tips, the things to avoid, and an actual progression to help you learn this skill. If you're a jumper that likes to be efficient with your skills and wants to continually level up over time, this is the tutorial for you. All right, let's get into it. Now there are a lot of different ways that you can get into this skill or exit this skill, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we're just going to do an inverse toed cross, then the inverse toed go-go, and then a single under to finish. Now let's get into some of the actual tips to do this skill. So number one, you really want to make sure that your chest is up really high and that you're bringing your leg that you're crossing under up really, really high, and you're really raising it, because the higher that leg is, the easier it will be to execute the cross. As we're doing this skill, it's important to really reach your arm under far and make sure that you're really getting into a very deep inverse toed cross. That way you have plenty of room to then open up into the go-go position. And as you can see, you are very likely going to need to open up your hips and move your leg and rotate it outwards in order to actually get the rope around your body. There's another piece of this that's very difficult to see. It's very hard to kind of perceive, especially as you're jumping, but it's really critical. You need to make sure that your hand is on the outside of your foot, and that your foot stays inside of the arc of the rope. That way you are actually jumping over the rope in the inverse toed go-go. The last main tip is to jump up a little bit higher than normal. We need a little extra room to accomplish this skill. So really make sure you're adding a little extra height. Nothing crazy, we're not jumping to the moon, but just a little extra height to help you clear this skill. Now the first thing to avoid is a small cross. If our hand is barely getting past our leg in the inverse toed, it's gonna be really hard to get that hand to externally open up into the inverse toed go-go. We also really want to avoid being excessively bent over. The more bent over we are, the harder it is to execute the right placement with our arms. One of the most important things to avoid is having our hand in the wrong position during this go-go, where the rope ends up actually missing our foot. Now, it's really important the rope is all the way around our body, so we do a full entire jump during this cross. Sometimes it can be very hard to tell where our hand is, and it almost feels like we did the correct skill, but in fact our hand was in the wrong position and the rope simply passed right by our foot on the inside and did not complete a full rotation around our body. So really avoid having your hand too close to your midline. Avoid having your hand in the incorrect position, and make sure that it does go all the way out and encompasses your entire body and makes a full arc around your entire body during this skill. The last thing to avoid is jumping too low. If we jump too low, we're gonna have a really hard time making this skill. So make sure that you are not jumping too low during the inverse toed go-go. So let's walk through a progression to learn this skill. Now, each of these steps is pretty straightforward, but I would really urge you spend the time on each step to make sure you're doing it correctly before moving on to the next. So the first thing we're gonna start with is an inverse toed cross, and then we're going to do an inverse toed go-go toe catch. So we're not even gonna jump the inverse toed go-go yet, we're just going to do a toe catch in that placement. The next step of this will be to repeat the same thing, except for this time we'll do an inverse toed cross, we'll actually jump the inverse toed go-go, and then we will do an inverse toed go-go toe catch right after that. And you may really need to focus hard on making sure the rope is outside of your foot on that toe catch. The last step of this progression is to do the inverse toed, do the inverse toed go-go jump, and then finish by exiting into a single under, where your hand simply comes out of its placement and you finish in that single under jump. And that's it. You've learned the inverse toed go-go cross. If this tutorial helped you with the inverse toed go-go cross, send it off to a friend that you think may also enjoy it. If you like these tutorials, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because there are a lot more tutorials coming in the future. If you have any questions at all, drop a comment down below or send me a DM on Instagram at Nate_KG. All right, I will see you in the next jump rope skill tutorial.